Hey guys, welcome to another clinical case study session. Today we're going to take a look at a case of excess masturbation in a young 20-year-old male, which is actually quite common today because of the advent of pornography, which causes one to carry this act to excess. We're going to take a look at his main symptoms and how they directly relate with the effects of excess masturbation on the biochemistry of the body and many of the other systems of the body. Let's take a closer look. So he's experiencing fatigue, low sex drive, some genital numbness as well, apathy, hair loss. He's also experiencing lower back pain, which he forgot to write down in his intake questionnaire, which he mentioned later on in his consultation. And then lastly, lots of gas after eating. I'm not going to expound on this last symptom because it is a direct result, a direct side effect of taking PPIs, proton pump inhibitors. And he says right here, I used a PPI for 3 weeks, and this happened recently after taking the PPI. But the first 5 symptoms he complains of are classic signs and symptoms of excess masturbation. I see these same symptoms time and time again in my patients who engage in high-frequency masturbation. So I was pretty convinced just based off of the symptoms he shared with me as to what was going on. And I didn't even have to look at his hair analysis results. In fact, I didn't have a chance to because he didn't do his hair analysis through us. He hadn't mailed in his hair sample to us. He had actually sent it to a lab in Spain. And he just booked a general consultation with me online. So right off the bat, I shared with him my suspicion. I'm very direct with my patients, very transparent, and he confirmed that indeed he was addicted to pornography and engaging in excess masturbation, as most guys are nowadays, at least according to the statistics. So anyways, after he received his hair analysis results and emailed them to me, his results were spot on when it comes to reflecting the addiction. Let's take a look at his hair analysis results. One of the first things I look at when assisting men with this kind of addiction is their zinc to copper ratio, because zinc is one of the most abundant minerals found in semen. And when a man masturbates too frequently, he will start to deplete his body of zinc. Here we can see that his zinc is below the ideal ratio. Now it's important for me to mention that my patient suspected that his zinc level was actually much lower than what was shown here, or what is shown here, because he told me that he had used a shampoo which was fortified with zinc before collecting and submitting his hair sample to the lab. So it is very likely that his zinc level is much lower than what is actually being shown here. As zinc levels drop in the body, copper will begin to rise to toxic levels because copper and zinc are antagonists. They compete within the human body, and that's what we're seeing here. Keep in mind that this particular lab in Spain uses this orange color to show how much deviation is acceptable from the ideal, which is this line here. So in this situation, the depletion of zinc in his body has allowed copper to rise to toxic levels, which in turn further suppresses the function of zinc in the body. So on the one hand, he's going to experience symptoms of copper toxicity, which I'm not going to get into today. I've gone into it quite a bit in previous videos. And on the other hand, he's going to experience symptoms of zinc deficiency, such as lowered immunity, poor neurological function, and indigestion, because zinc deficiency causes low stomach acid production. So he was prescribed a proton pump inhibitor to reduce his acid reflux, when the doctor should have instead prescribed zinc to bring his hydrochloric acid production back up, to be able to better digest his food, to reduce indigestion, putrefaction, and the backflow of acids into his esophagus, which is the cause of his acid reflux. 99% of the time, acid reflux is caused because of low stomach acid production, not high. Furthermore, zinc is intimately related with testosterone, while copper is intimately related with estrogen. So as his zinc becomes depleted through excess masturbation, his testosterone levels will also drop. And one of the trademark symptoms of low testosterone in men is chronic fatigue, the type of tiredness that doesn't improve after rest, which was one of the first symptoms he complained of in his intake questionnaire. Another characteristic symptom of low testosterone in men is erectile dysfunction, or low sex drive, which is another symptom he complained of. Ancient traditional Chinese medicine has so much literature and teachings revolving around the topic of sexual energy, and their studies have shown that when a man who masturbates frequently abstains from the act for just 1 week for only 7 days, his testosterone levels will rise by almost 50%. 50%. Another key mineral ratio I'd like to bring to your attention is his sodium to magnesium ratio, which is also known as the adrenal ratio. The ideal adrenal ratio, according to TEI Labs, the leading hair analysis lab in the world with which we're partnered with, is 4. And any value below 2 is considered adrenal fatigue. And as we can see here, his ratio is 0.9, which indicates that he's dealing with adrenal fatigue. So now we have 2 possible root causes to his symptom of fatigue. The first being low testosterone, and the second one being adrenal fatigue. You may be wondering, can excess masturbation cause adrenal fatigue? And the answer is yes, because the adrenal glands are the pharmacy of your body. Some examples of hormones your adrenals have to produce each time you experience an orgasm include oxytocin, endorphins, estrogen for women, testosterone for men, serotonin, prolactin, dopamine, norepinephrine, etc. So the more the adrenal glands get overused through overmasturbation, the more fatigued will they become, and as a result, they won't be able to produce proper amounts of all the hormones needed for proper energy, healthy sex drive, happy moods, etc. So in this case, his low sex drive isn't only being caused because of low zinc, which causes low testosterone levels, but also because his adrenals are no longer able to produce proper amounts of DHEA and testosterone. Now, what we call adrenal fatigue in the West, ancient traditional Chinese medicine calls kidney qi deficiency. And according to them, weak kidney qi is the leading cause of lower back pain, which was another symptom he complained of. Another leading cause of lower back pain in men is an enlarged prostate, an inflamed prostate caused by excess use, by excess masturbation. So whether his lower back pain is caused by an enlarged prostate or adrenal fatigue, the solution is the same: reducing frequency and, better yet, abstinence, to allow the prostate to rest and repair and the adrenals to recover. And in fact, many of my male patients who engage in this addictive behavior have reported throughout the years a considerable improvement in their lower back pain by just abstaining for a week or 2. Another ratio I want to bring to your attention is his metabolic ratio, which is demonstrated by the calcium to phosphorus ratio. And we can see here that his ratio is very high, which indicates a very slow metabolic rate. Now, a very slow metabolic rate is not normal to be seen in a 20-year-old male, because a 20-year-old male should have a very fast metabolic rate. So what's going on is that this excess masturbation is causing his body to slow down his metabolic rate. And the reason why this happens is very simple. The act of sex is a very energetically demanding activity. Not only energetically draining, but also nutritionally draining, especially for men. This is why most men, after they have sex, they just want to pass out. And why many flowers and many plants in nature, when they give their seed, they basically die off. And so when you're having sex, you are giving life, you are creating life. So the more you engage in sexual activity, the more will the body have to try its best to conserve energy by cutting into the energetic allowance of many of the processes of the body. So your digestion will slow down, your body heat will be reduced, your detoxification processes will slow down, your brain power will slow down. Basically, all of the processes of the body will have to slow down to compensate for the massive energetic loss because of all of the masturbation that's going on. The premature hair loss he's experiencing because he's only 20 years old is also a trademark symptom of excess masturbation in men. Because when a man over-masturbates, the excess testosterone produced by the adrenal glands is converted into DHT, dihydrotestosterone, which causes hair loss. Now, of course, excess DHT production because of excess masturbation isn't the only leading cause of premature baldness in men nowadays. Antibiotic treatment can also cause premature baldness in men because these broad-spectrum antibiotics wipe out the good bacteria in your gut as well, many of which are responsible for producing key nutrients such as the B vitamins, which are essential for hair growth. Now, when it comes to the apathy that he is experiencing, this too is a direct side effect of addiction. So regardless of what you are addicted to, whether it's pornography, masturbation, drugs, or something else, the chemical process that takes place within your body and in your mind is essentially the same. Just to simplify things, dopamine is produced in your brain when you engage in the addictive behavior, a lot of dopamine. And the more addicted you become over time, the more you engage in the addictive behavior, the more and more dopamine is produced in your brain to the point where you become essentially desensitized to it. So outside of the addictive behavior, you're going to experience now chronic low levels of dopamine. And that'll cause you to lose motivation in life. You're going to become apathetic. You're going to no longer find enjoyment in all the little things of life that you used to once upon a time. You're going to lose your desire to achieve goals, etc. That's it for today's video. I hope it helped you gain some insight into some of the many imbalances which can be caused by this addictive behavior. Keep in mind, this gentleman was only 20 years old, and so not too many years of addiction, but so many imbalances caused by this addiction. So you can only imagine the severity of imbalances people can be dealing with, people who have been engaging in their addictions and vices for over decades. So don't be fooled, by thinking, if somebody tells you to take zinc to mitigate the effects of this vice or this addiction, because it's only one small piece of the puzzle. In reality, one needs a personalized approach to identify your unique imbalances, to address adrenal fatigue if you're dealing with adrenal fatigue, and more importantly, to address this addiction holistically, because you can do all of this stuff. You can take all of your supplements, but if you're not addressing the root cause of what led to the addiction in the first place, you won't be able to control it. You won't be able to abstain or to reduce its frequency. Facing your childhood trauma, because trauma is a primary cause of addiction. Overcoming low self-esteem, low self-worth, the lack of self-love, basically embarking on the journey of self-development, self-realization of self-love. All of these are crucial when it comes to freeing yourself from this addiction. The most valuable thing about your addiction is that it is a messenger. It is bringing you, I would say, one of the most valuable lessons of life. And so you need to look at it in this positive light. Your addiction is a golden opportunity, a golden messenger. It is giving you the message that you are too attached to this world. You're not attached enough to Source, to the kingdom of heaven. The fetus, while still in the womb of its mother, it is connected to this life, to this world, through its primordial connection, the umbilical cord, through the mother to this world, and it receives its nourishment from this world to that world. Without this primordial connection to this world, it would not be able to receive nourishment, and grow and develop. And so if the fetus were to neglect its connection with this world, it would not develop in that world. It would arrive into this world underdeveloped and with a lot of handicaps. This is what all of the divine prophets throughout the ages have taught us, that this world is not real. Do not attach yourself to the things of this world. Do not become attached. Do not become a glutton. Don't become too attached to food. Do not carry sexual behavior to excess. Do not become full of lust. Do not pursue and obsess about these illusory things that pertain to this world, wealth, money, all that kind of stuff. That this world is, they all teach unanimously, is the womb of the world of reality. That world is real. The life of your spirit is real. Your physical body and this physical world is not. So in the same manner, this fleeting life has a purpose, and we've been taught throughout the ages by these divine prophets and manifestations and messengers that the purpose of this physical life is to prepare our souls for the afterlife, for the eternal worlds of God, to be able to develop our spiritual faculties, these divine virtues, trust, worthiness, honesty, compassion, etc., because we will need these for the afterlife. Their fullest expression will be made manifest to us in the afterlife. So consider yourself blessed that you have been awakened through your addiction to your true needs, the needs of your soul. Because again, when we're not addressing it, the needs of our soul, we're going to have to carry material things to excess, vices and addictions, in order to attempt to satisfy an infinite void, which pertains to the infinite world. Your heart has been created to be placed in the care of our Creator, our loving Creator, to be nourished by His Word, which is infinite in its quality. The heart has not been created to be placed in the care of this world and attached to the things pertaining to this world. And this is why nothing will ever satisfy you of this world. You'll carry everything to excess and it'll make you sick, but you will never be satisfied. Once you start engaging in this process of establishing the primordial connection with Source and the kingdom of heaven, you will be made satisfied. That is key in freeing yourself from any addiction, from any vice.